I'm Alexandra Spalato. I'm developer relation engineer at Storyblok. As Ash say, I'm French, as you can hear by my accent, but I'm half Spanish and I live in the island of Mallorca. I'm super excited to be here today. It's also my first time in the US. And let me tell you a fun story. Long time ago in another life, I wanted to be an actress and I attended a drama school in Paris. So if at this time somebody has told me in 2023, you will be on stage on the US, I say, yes, great. With Michael Jackson, I said, I prefer David Bowie, honestly. And you will be speaking in English, but my English is really basic. And you will be talking about programming. What? I barely use a computer. I'm an artist. I don't like math. What the fuck? That's not possible. So how you remixed my life between these two times is another story, perhaps another talk. But today we are going to serve the headless commerce wave with Shopify Hydrogen. So let's go. Where is the machine? Okay, no, that's not the right one. So first, we will define headless commerce. We will define Shopify Hydrogen, and finally we will explore the code of an Hydrogen custom storefront. So who of you has already used Hydrogen? Okay, good. And who want to use it in a future project? Okay, nice. So headless commerce means the separation of the front end and the back end, and this is achieved thanks to an API-driven architecture which allows for a flexible and customizable front-end experience. The benefits of headless commerce are huge. It allows for omnichannel selling, faster time to market, better performance, which leads to better SEO, personalization and customization, improved security, and certainly much more things. However, this can come with an increased development complexity. So imagine an e-commerce platform, oops, and I'm falling from the platform, an e-commerce platform that comes with all the benefits of headless commerce while minimizing the development complexity. This is where Shopify Hydrogen comes in. And so Shopify Hydrogen is a new framework designed to simplify the development experience for building headless Shopify stores. It comes with built-in best practice, and best of all, is built on Remix. So if you know Remix, so perhaps some of you don't know Remix, I don't know. But if you know Remix, you really will feel at home in Hydrogen. If you take the dock, you can be up and running in one day, really. So Hydrogen offers a component-based architecture. It leverages Remix to improve the performance, and it offers a seamless integration with Shopify APIs. So now we are going to create this storefront, and this is the project I've created. This is why I was talking about Surf. I take inspiration on a free Shopify theme, and the homepage is built also with Storyblok, my favorite headless CMS, and here I'm melting some data from Shopify and some storytelling. If I click here, I go to my... Okay, that was not planned. Perhaps internet doesn't work. I don't know, I didn't check my connection. Of course, I should have a problem. I have the local one, perhaps it works. So, no. Okay, so too bad. I don't know if it's the connection. Certainly that. Okay, so I cannot choose the project. So in the project, you can see the collection, the product details. You can have items to the cart. You can see the items in the cart. And also, I have the repo here that you can clone. Okay, Alexandra Hydroblok Surf. And also here you can clone the Storyblok space and see how everything works, because it also comes with personalization. So sorry, I cannot show you all the project, but we can see the code, so that's the essential. So first we are going to create the project, then I take some water. Then I will show you how to fetch and mutate data, how to build the collection and product, how to handle SEO, and the biggest part, the more complex, how to build a cart. So first, we create the project using the Shopify CLI with npm create at Shopify Hydrogen latest. It will ask you to choose a template. Here I have built upon the Hello World template to choose TypeScript or JavaScript. Sorry, I have used JavaScript here. I know TypeScript is better. To choose the product name and to install dependencies. And we are ready to go. And so this is the final project. As you can see, it's really a remix project. In our app, we have our root file, so you can see everything familiar here. We have our roots, and in the roots I have created a collection folder with the index, and the index is showing the entry from the collection from performance board and original boards. And here's the collection details that will show that you have not seen, that I wanted to show all the products from the collection with a load more button, and then you can go to the product details here in the products root, and so the beautiful product, and you can have them to the cart. There is also a shop pay, a buy now button. All the things that I built that I cannot show you, but you can explore them after. Okay, and also, yes, we have in the components all the cart components that we are going to explore. We also have a cart route, and this is the entry point, server.js. And in our package, we can see we have remix package and hydrogen packages. So, okay, now let's see how we can fetch and mutate data in Hydrogen. So Hydrogen provides a storefront client to send queries and mutation from Remix, Loader, and Actions. So if we go to server.js, which is the entry point, we call the create storefront client function, and this is how we create our storefront. Then we pass it to get load context. This is automatically, this code is there when you create the Hello World project. So I just explained, but you don't have to write that. You can modify it. We pass it to get load context, and from there, the storefront will be available in the context from loaders and actions. So then we can use storefront.query to send GraphQL queries to our storefront and load data. So we will use that to read data, to build our products, our collection, also to read the data from the cart. And we will use storefront.mutate to perform GraphQL mutations in Remix action, and we will use that to build all the cart operations, so to create a cart, to add items to the cart, to remove items to the cart, or to update the cart. So we create our products and collection, as we have seen in the repo, with these two routes. And for that, here is the example for the collection details. We create a query. So in my collection details, I just want to show the image from the collection. I want the title and I want the handle to link to the collection details. So I get that in my query. Then I pass this query in my loader in the context storefront query. And from there, I load my data from my collection. I retrieve this data with useLoader data in my component, and then I map around my collection and display a collection card component. And same principle for the products and the collection details that you can explore in the repo. Then also Hydrogen has a library, Hydrogen React, of React components, hooks, and utilities that can be used with any React framework or application. So, for example, if you are with Next.js, because the application was there, because if not, I don't know why you will not use Remix, which is better, in my opinion. So, but well, with this components and utility, you can use Hydrogen with other React frameworks. So here are some, for example, the image displays the image from Shopify. The money component make very easy to display the price and currency by passing the price data. The Shop Pay button provides a Buy Now button just by passing the store domain. And if you explore the documentation, there is many components for the cart and for many things. So how to handle SEO? SEO is super important in e-commerce. So Hydrogen offers an SEO component that collects the data defined in a handle export. And we can create a function that will take the data from the loader as an argument. So here in the root, we take as title the shop name and as description, the shop description. Then we place this component in the head in our root file. And for other routes, for example, here in the product handle, for the product details, we can overwrite it. So here we overwrite the title with the product title and the description with the product description. And this is the result. So this is the website I wanted to show you. With a single product, we have here the title that we can retrieve in the head, and the title in the head, and the description that we retrieve as meta description too. So it works, it's very easy to use and very handy. So now let's see the biggest part, how to build a cart. So cart operation could be done client-side, but this would affect performance because of the additional code delivered to the browser. It will also affect the user experience because all the critical flows wouldn't be actionable until all the JS has finished loading. But Remix has a powerful mutation API that leverage web standards like Form and HTTP. So thanks to that, we are able to build a server-side traditional form flow while keeping the benefits of client-side. And as the cart will not need JS, we can use progressive enhancement and optimistic UI and all the Remix goodness. So let's build a server-side performance cart, and let's drink water. So first, we create a cart route, and in this cart route, we create an action that handles the form submission to the cart route. And now we need API function. We need a function to create a cart. We need a function to add items to the cart. We need a function to remove items to the cart. And each one of these functions will perform a mutation using storefront.mutate. So cart creates a cart with a line item by passing the create cart mutation query. So here is the query. Then the cart add function add lines item to an existing cart by passing the add line mutation query. And here we pass the cart ID and the line as variables. So here is the query. And the cart remove function remove lines item from a cart by passing the remove line items mutation query. So here as variable, we have the cart ID and the line IDs. And this is the query. Then we need to call this function from the action, but in the cart route. So, but as a route can only have one action, we are going to create a switch to run the function based on the submitted form action input. So this is how it looks in our cart route. Okay, so here we have our action. So we get our form data from the request. From there, we get our cart action, and then we build our switch based on the cart action with the case add to cart and remove from cart. Now we have the cart, we create an Add to Cart button to add items to our cart. And here, as we can see, our button is inside a form. And we are going to use the useFetcher hook that allows to post and get data from other routes. So here, we post data on the cart route, and we have an hidden input to define the cart action. So here's the value of the cart action will be add to cart, and we have another input to get the lines, so the products that we want to add to this cart. And so in our switch, now the case is the cart action is in the case add to cart. So we check if a cart exists, and if it doesn't exist, we run the cart create function. And if the cart exists, we run the cart add function to add our items to the cart. So very simple. Same thing for the remove from cart button. We create our button with fetcher form. And here's the cart action as remove from cart as value. And we pass the line IDs of the products that we want to remove. So now in our switch, we are in the case remove from cart. And so we run the cart remove function. Now, we have a cart. We have buttons to have items to the cart, so we can add products, so we have data in our cart. Now we need to fetch and read this cart. So for that, we need three things: to create a cart query, to create a cart fetcher function, and we need a loader to get this data. So I create the query here in a query folder, if I found it. Okay, it's here, so you will be able to explore it quietly later. And here is my get cart fetcher function. And here, as you can see, there is a cache, because Hydrogen cache the data automatically by default for 10 seconds, but we don't want to have stale data while users are adding items to the cart. So this cart can be customized or disabled. So here we disable it with storefront cache none. Now, if a cart exists, we want to get this data from our loader. But we need this data in two places. I told you there is this icon that displays a number of icons and that of items in the cart, and that will be in the header. And of course, there is a cart route where we want all of our data. So we want this data to be available globally, and that's why we are going to place our loader in our root file. So this is our loader, and as you can see here, I'm calling my fetcher, my getCart function, but as you can see, there is no await. I'm not waiting for it because I need the shop data for my SEO immediately. And for that, I'm using the defer utility that allows for defer or streaming data, the streaming responses, and it will transport the promise to the UI components. So this is the cart icon component, and as this component is a child of the root file, we can get the data from use loader data, and then we pass this cart. This promise is resolved in the await component that we use along with suspense. Then we get this data. From this data, we get the quantity of items, and we display it in our icon. So very simple. So now we have all the data to build our UI components. And so we have the line item component that will render each product from the cart. And here we also render the remove from cart button. So we have this little button that I wanted to show you that to remove items from the cart. We have the cart lines item component, and here again we are using an utility from Hydrogen React, flatten connection, that flattens the node and hedges object to a simple array of lines, so we can map around our lines and display each product. And the cart summary component renders the total using the money component. The checkout button links to the checkout URL. And finally, the cart content component displays everything, our products, our cart summary with the price, and our checkout button. Now, in our cart route, we also want all our cart data, but the cart route is not a child of the route. So here we use the use matches hook that can get the data from the route, and from there we get our cart data. And again, we use a way to resolve our cart and suspense. We get our data. If there is item on the cart, we display the cart content component. And if we don't have, we display a cart empty component. And that's all. We have a functioning e-commerce, quite basic for the moment, but we have our products, we have our collection, we have a functional cart. And so please find me outside and ask me questions. I love talking with people. I'm a people person, so don't be shy. Come to me. And also, I'm going to post the links for the slides on Twitter and on Discord, and from there you can have the repository, clone it, also clone the Storyblok space. If you don't want to clone it, I have the token, so you can really play and reproduce the project. And I really invite you to go to the Hydrogen documentation because it's terrific. I learned everything from there. It's as good as the Remix documentation. You have a tutorial where you can build this type of shop. And it's really good because I'm not a documentation person. I'm a video learner, so if I've been able to learn everything from the doc, it's really, really good. So thank you, and meet me outside, and I hope you will build shops.